Hi, my name is Larry Fobbs. Thank you for watching this video because you're interested in this product here. Ketogen 4. It's a very special product for burning fat. So what I want you to do is look up the title Keto. You'll find that there's a lot of products out there. They talk about this, talk about that, burning this and burning that. This product here is very special. Made by New Life. Now the thing is, okay, when you purchase this product, you're getting more than just a product. We have a Facebook group of hundreds of individuals who are using this product. And you can join the group, see what they're talking about, compare ideas and things like that. And the other thing is, we have a board of certified doctors who are also on board with this product. So, when you start taking this product, you're not alone. You'll be able to call in, check in, see how everyone's doing, give you results, and all that is because you don't have to be alone in trying the keto product. It's because I bet you if you were to Google and look up keto, it's a very complicated subject. A lot that's involved, a lot of misconceptions. But this product here is a true fat burner. You burn fat. You don't have to exercise, you don't have to go on a special diet or any of that other nonsense you'll hear out there, because this product is very special. So once again, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you on the inside.
Hey, this is Dr. Barry. Let's talk for just a few minutes about the 7 biggest mistakes that people make when they start eating a ketogenic diet. Now, I'm hoping that if you're new to keto, someone shared this video with you, and that's going to speak directly to the last mistake that I talk about, number 7. But if you know somebody who's new to the ketogenic way of eating, who's trying to eat keto and they're having trouble, please consider sharing this video with them. It could make all the difference in the world. It could be the difference between them giving up and going back to the stupid American diet or them being successful on their keto journey. So please share this if you know someone who could benefit from it. Now, let's jump right into the 7 biggest mistakes that I see newbies make when they're trying to eat keto. Step number 1, without doubt, hands down, is not eating enough fat. We're taught our entire adult lives to fear fat, to be afraid of saturated fat, to cut back on fat. And that's one of the biggest no-nos when it comes to eating a proper ketogenic way. Saturated fat is good for you. It's not bad for you. Okay, and I know that if you're brand new to this, you're like, wait, what? What did he just say? Yeah, every cell membrane of every single cell in your entire body has to have cholesterol and the other products of saturated fat in order to function properly. Without enough fat, your brain suffers, your heart suffers, every cell in your body suffers. You have to eat plenty of fat on the ketogenic diet. Now, I'm not a big proponent of drinking your fat. I don't want you putting oil in this and that and just drinking oil out of the bottle, but I do want you to eat lots of sources of good saturated fat. That's by far the biggest mistake people made. They're still afraid of fat, and you got to stop that. You have to get over your fear of fat. You have to place that fear where it properly belongs, which is a fear of sugars, starches, and unnecessary processed carbohydrates. That's where your fear should be. Number 2 biggest mistake is not getting enough salt and electrolytes. Human beings are mammals, and all mammals need lots of salt in order to function properly. You may have heard stories about wild animals walking for miles to find a salt-rich rock or a mud that they can lick and get that salt. They're not doing that because they're gluttons. They're doing it because all mammals need lots of salt in order to function properly. Now, this is another thing that we're mistakenly told when we're learning how to eat as human beings, is that too much salt's bad for you. You should cut back on salt. You shouldn't eat so much salt. Those are all myths. None of those are true. You have to have lots of salt in order to function properly. And the way to know how much salt to eat is to salt to taste. And so if something doesn't taste salty enough, put some salt on it. If it tastes too salty, then you put too much salt on it. That's literally all your body needs for you to do. You don't have to weigh, measure, calculate, just salt to taste, because your body will tell you it needs more salt. The way it'll do that is if your food tastes very bland, you need more salt. If you're having leg cramps in the night, you need more salt. And when I say salt, I'm not talking about just sodium and chloride. I'm also talking about magnesium and potassium. Now, many keto-friendly foods have lots of potassium and magnesium. The classic potassium story you're told is eat a banana. Please don't do that. That's a terrible source of potassium. Avocados are a great source of both potassium and magnesium. Fatty meat is a great source of both potassium and magnesium. There are many foods on the ketogenic diet plan that have lots of potassium and magnesium, or you can buy something called light salt, Lite, which is potassium chloride, and use that in conjunction with a good quality sea salt. And then you can also buy some magnesium drops or a magnesium supplement if you can't get enough magnesium from your diet. Biggest mistake number 3 is continuing to snack. Now, one of the main things about the ketogenic way is that we discrete meals, we sit down, we eat a meal, and then we stop eating. And that what you're doing by doing that is you're implementing naturally something called intermittent fasting. Now, I have a bunch of videos about intermittent fasting on this channel you can check out later, but just understand, human beings were never meant to snack all day. Okay, we're not cattle. We shouldn't graze constantly all day long. We should eat 1 or 2 or 3 discrete meals a day, and those meals need to be separated by hours of time in which we don't eat. And that allows our insulin level to stay very low normal and our blood sugar level to stay very low normal. Those are very good things, and they're going to help you reach your goals by eating a ketogenic diet. Next, number 4 biggest mistake is comparing your results to someone else's results. And so if you're a 60-year-old woman and you're comparing your results to a 40-year-old woman, you're going to be disappointed, okay? Because your age matters as when it comes to weight loss or your other goals that you may have. Your gender matters. Your medical conditions matter. What medications you take, what medications you don't take, how much sleep you get, how much stress is in your life. Your life is uniquely yours, and you need to own it, and you need to live it, and stop comparing yourself to other people. Your weight loss may be faster than others, but slower than others. That's okay because you're headed towards your goals. You're not trying to reach their goals. So that can be very discouraging if you're trying really hard and you look and your next door neighbor has lost twice as much weight as you. Stop comparing yourself to others. That's just a recipe for disaster. Next is worrying about portion sizes or calories. Now, we've been trying to count calories as a method of weight loss for almost 100 years now. And you can see how well that's worked so far. We have the biggest obesity epidemic that humanity has ever suffered from. So it's safe to say that counting calories is a bad strategy for long-term meaningful weight loss. The same goes for restricting your portion size. That just seems to be a common sense thing to do if you're trying to lose weight or trying to improve your health, is to eat smaller portions. But one of the beautiful things about the ketogenic way is you don't have to limit your portions. If you're hungry, you eat. And when you eat until you're full. Yeah, that's right. There's a diet where you get to do that. And that's the ketogenic diet, okay? So stop counting calories. It's a terrible method for weight loss. It never works long term. If it did, Weight Watchers would have been out of business 20 years ago, right? But they're going strong because that doesn't work. Limiting your portion sizes is only going to keep you hungry, which makes you miserable, and that's just like the old way of dieting. One of the beautiful things about the ketogenic way is you're not hungry. You don't have to suffer anymore, okay? And when you limit your portion size, you also take the risk of lowering your basal metabolic rate. And when you do that, it becomes much, much harder to lose weight. So when you're hungry, eat. When you eat till you're full. Then stop. That's the ketogenic way. The next big mistake that everybody makes when they're first coming to keto is trusting food manufacturers. Now, whether this is big food, the mainstream food manufacturers, or whether this is keto manufacturers or low carb manufacturers, all of these guys, they can't help it. It's human nature. They're going to play reindeer games when it comes to calculating the amount of carbohydrates in their food. They're going to pick very creative names for sugar. They're going to call it things that you might not recognize as being sugar at all. They're going to call things net carbs and they're going to act like their total carb count is lower than what it really is. Don't fall for any of that. You need to count total carbs and you need to never trust a food manufacturer with your health. And so ideally, the proper way of eating keto, in my opinion, is to eat only whole, real foods that have no label at all, or if they have a label, a max of 3 ingredients on that label. That's probably real food. And so if you're eating something that has a long list of ingredients, that's probably not keto because they can round down instead of up. We were taught in third grade that zero point 0.7 rounds up to 1, but for big food, they can round that down to 0. And so you cannot trust food manufacturers with your health. You have to eat real, whole, ketogenic foods. Now, number 7 is a huge mistake that so many people make. You want to go keto, your family's not on board, your friends are not on board, you try to go it alone. Now, the beautiful thing about social media these days is you don't have to do that. You can reach out. You can join a keto group on Facebook. There's this new social media. It's a keto social media called Keto Quest, and you can go to ketoquest.com and check that out. You can sign up. It's free, and you're among thousands of people who are trying to do the ketogenic diet, who are very friendly, very helpful. They'll reach out. They'll answer your questions. You may be able to even answer some of their questions, right? But don't try to go this alone. That's a recipe for disaster. Now, there are many groups on Facebook. You can go and check out Instagram. There are thousands of people on Instagram who are using keto to change their life. Stop thinking you're in the forest alone. You're not. You've got friends. You just have to reach out to them. Okay.